Hi everyone, my name is Pranav Mamidipudi. I'm a junior at Corte Valley High School in San Ramon, California. My mentor for this research was Emma Svoboda, who, after her law degree from Harvard, is currently working at the International Court of Justice in The Hague. The main thesis of my research is that there has been and continues to be a consistent pattern of Chinese investment in Africa, which is centered around the exploitation of natural resources, as well as people of Africa. I showed that the Belt and Road Initiative, which was launched when Chinese President Xi Jinping took over the Communist Party in 2013, has been the cause for this exploitation. I do this through three case studies. The first case study is the mining investments in the DRC, or the Democratic Republic of the Congo, one of the poorest countries in the world. The DRC is a primary producer of critical ingredients for electric vehicle technologies, most especially batteries. After several years of investment, China owns the entire supply chain, mines, refineries, and factories that produce the electric batteries and other key elements used in EVs. China's state-sponsored entities own north of 80% of the entire manufacturing process for these crucial products. While China has progressed through the use of these resources, the DRC continues to remain one of the poorest, most exploited nations in the world. My second case study is the Chinese physical infrastructure investments in Tanzania, roadways, railways, and ports. These have become the lifeblood of majority of rare earth metals and minerals being exported from Africa to the rest of the world. You cannot get any of these raw materials out of Africa without using Chinese trucks, railways, or other logistics. One key element I found in my research was the secrecy and unfavorable loans covenants China makes available to these severely indebted nations. This allows China to control over and the policy. Sorry,
I'm sorry, you should be all fixed up. Sorry about that.
okay. Moving on. What's the way forward here? Oh, wait, sorry. My third case study has to do with the current digital infrastructure, which runs everything we use, from cell phones to the internet. Huawei, a Chinese company, has been building the digital Silk Road with the backing of state-owned institutions and banks. Today, Huawei owns and operates more than 60% of the world's data center and telecom infrastructure. However, that number is much higher, closer to 80%, if you consider African and Asian countries alone. African development and modernization, in other words, is being financed by unfavorable and cheap Chinese loans. So, what's the way forward? First, we need to make sure we acknowledge and recognize the exploitation of African nations and the people. Second, the Western countries, when reestablishing themselves as true trustworthy partners, must overtly eradicate the colonial mindset. Third, we need international organizations such as the IMF and the World Bank to enable better loans are available for African nations. And fourth, African governments must ensure proper use of natural resources for better mutual cooperation. Thank you for listening, and I am now open to questions.
Thank you. What was the inspiration for this topic, or what was the origin story to work on this?
So I've been hearing about the Belt and Road for a long time, since before the pandemic, actually. And I thought this was a very important development because it combines two things that I think are very important: economics and geopolitics. and both have a significant impact on the world we live in. And this is all going to have impact on the world we live in the future. In particular, we are talking about the economic development of Africa, which has historically been exploited, first under colonial rule by Europeans, and now, even in the present day, by modern so-called developed economies. And the third case study, which I found very interesting, had to do with digital infrastructure. With the and I thought this was important because you have large companies like Huawei, which are dominating the world's data center and telecom infrastructure. They own everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Wait, well, one of the solutions that you put in there is, hey, you know, when the Western democracies want to kind of flex their muscle in Africa, they need to get rid of the colonial mindset, right? So when, because I agree, I agree with that. What in your reading or your research were possible solutions to actually make that happen? I mean, obviously the West is going to flex its muscle in Africa. They're going to, and when they do, what methods can they use to kind of start to eradicate that colonial mindset?
That is a great question. I cover this in more depth in my paper, and I strongly advise you read it. I think one thing that needs to be made clear is that it, countries in Africa cannot be treated as junior partners or something. They need to be treated as equal partners, and their interests need to be taken into account when any sort of deal is made with them. I
Yeah,
think that is an
yeah,
important step.
I
We need
get
to
you.
stop thinking in terms of only how we benefit and how they can benefit as well.
Right. So give them a seat at the table and let them kind of write the rules with us rather than
Yeah,
being told what to do. Right.
that is
Yeah.
that is exactly.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, I'm going to totally check out your paper. I think that's great. Thank you so much, Pranav, and thank you both. And you know, it's I look forward to our economic session in the fall because, like I said, it's actually becoming more and more popular. Finance and economics is really growing in our space. But both of these topics are actually really interesting. I've been interested in private equity and private lending for some time. I really enjoyed that paper, and Africa is this it's a lion that everyone's trying to tame, and the way that they're doing it right now is actually
It
very
is rich in natural resources, and is one of the parts of the globe which is experiencing the fastest growing population as well.
yeah, yeah.